What's going on? Today we're going to be installing some rally armor mud flaps on the ST. I got the red and whites. Alright, I bought these off subination.ca, and if you live in Canada, it is the cheapest price I've found shipped. It's around $217 after tax. If you're buying one specifically for the Fiesta ST, the part number is MF29UR. And then let's get started with this installation. Alright, for this install, you're gonna have to jack it up and pull off the wheels. So before jack up, make sure you crack the lugs. So unless you have an air impact or electric. Alright, when jacking up this car, if you're doing one side at a time, the easiest way I find is just jack it up at that rear pinch point until the front wheel comes off the ground. Put a jack stand on the front pinch point and the rear axle there. And that's the easiest way to do it in my opinion. There's not much screwing around when you do it that way. Alright, for the tools you need for this, you need a marking pen, preferably colored, an 11mm socket, or wrench will work too, 19mm to pull off your wheels, a breaker bar, a torque wrench, you need a 5/16 drill bit, a 1/4" drill bit, and any smaller one will work for a pilot hole, as well as a number 2 Phillips, and just a smaller flathead or trim removal tool will work too. And then tape measure, just to measure the distance off the ground when you install the mud flaps. And then we got 2 pairs of pliers. Just makes the job a bit easier, you don't really need them. And a drill. Alright, for the front, as far as parts go, we have 4 small washers, 3 of these push pin style clips, a screw clip, 3 short screws, a foam, a piece of small foam, the shorter one, the longer one will go on the rear, 2 of these poly clips, which are the ones with the square cut ends, not the round ends. We have this mounting plate and this mounting plate spacer, whatever you want to call it, this metal clip, the 2 nylocks, and then a sill plate extender. Alright, so first off, we'll give the area a small cleanup, and then we'll remove these 2, that plastic clip and this plastic clip to start off with. And then once you remove this piece, there will be at least on my cards, a fair amount of muck behind that. So we'll give that a clean and then just pull out the inner fender. Again, once I pull the inner fender out, there's a bunch of muck back there, so we're gonna clean all that out as well. Alright, once we get this inner fender cleaned up, you're gonna see where it's notched out right there. We're gonna put that the shorter length piece of foam right on here. Then press her on there pretty good, and that's gonna eliminate movement with the inner fender liner. We are going to grab one of the poly clips and install it right in the inner fender here. That is good right there. And then now we shall reinstall the inner fender. Alright, next step, we're gonna grab this screw style clip, unscrew the screw portions. We don't need that, we just need the actual clip portion. And we are going to install that into the inner fender liner there. Click that in like that. And then we shall grab a short screw and this metal tab bracket and install it. Alright, we got that little bracket installed with another poly clip on it. And then next up we get this metal bracket, if it will focus, and put it behind the sill plate with a washer and small screw behind it, and then we'll just put that back on. Alright, I got that sill plate back on. I just put that screw in by hand, and then next up we have the sill plate extender, and we are just gonna set that on there. Alright, once you have it all lined up, you're gonna mark the holes you're gonna drill. I'm just using a cheap marker here. There we go. Next up, we're gonna put our small drill bit that we're using as a pilot drill bit into the drill. All right, we got the pilot holes drilled. Next up, we're gonna move to our 1/4" drill bit. There we are. And then we're gonna need those 3 push pin style clips next. Install those like that. And then once you're happy on the fitment, we'll push the 3 pins in to spread the clips and hold them in place. Alright, once we got that installed, it should sit flush with your sill plate here. Should be a nice clean fit. Next up, grab the right mud flap, and we will remove this screw we earlier installed. And then you will put the mud flap on. We are still using a shorter screw for this. Just get a couple threads in there. Next up, we are gonna install this piece of metal flat bar. To get a good fit, you might have to bend it slightly so it holds the mud flap against the fender. Just give that a quick little bend. You'll put that on there. All right, and that's the final fit there for the front. Now remember, any of the screws that you screw in, you don't want to get them very tight, as everything is screwing to plastic and the washers are plastic, so it'll strip out very easily, so you have to be careful with that. The 11mm nuts you can get fairly tight, but again, it's just holding on a light mud flap. And then next up, we'll install the wheel. And while the wheel's off, you might as well give your calipers a bit of a clean. All right, for the rear, we're gonna need the bracket, the bigger style push-in clip, the 2 spacers, the sticky round foam piece, the longer foam piece, 4 bigger washers, 2 longer screws, 2 of the shorter screws, 2 S-clips, and 1 poly clip. All right, first off, we are going to drill out this rivet at the back. We're gonna need a 5/16 drill bit. If it'll focus, there we go. And then remove these 2 clips. All right, just drill that right out with a 5/16, and then we'll remove these clips. All right, I had a bit of trouble with these clips on the other side, so what I ended up doing was just pry them out a little bit. Got some side cutters. Cut the head of the clip off because we won't be using these clips again. And then push the inner piece in a little bit, like that. And then grab the drill, and then just drill right in the center, and it should pull the clip out fairly easily, just like that. And that's the easiest way I found to get these rear clips out. There we go. Next up, we're gonna separate this portion of the bigger style push-in clip, and then click it in right in the bottom there. And then where we remove these 2 clips, we are going to install 2 S-style clips. The S-style clips are the ones with the round end, as you can see, so we'll put those on there. All right, now we got this rear spacer. We are gonna install the circular foam spacer on the side with the square end, and then on the side with the round end, we are going to install this poly clip. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna put the mud flap on the bracket. You're gonna get a large washer, a long screw, and the bigger spacer. and install it in that hole, and then put the mud flap on, just twist and hand tight, and then we'll install all the other screws as well. All right, then on the upper section, we are going to grab another screw with a large washer, then a slightly shorter spacer, and put that through there and the spacer on the back, and screw that into that top S-clip. Again, just hand tight till we get everything else in. All right, for the bottom, we are going to use 2 short screws with 2 of the bigger washers. And again, just screw them in. Get that one started. And get this one started as well. And then we'll get everything all lined up the way we want it and tighten those down. All right, and then the last step in this process, we are going to push the wheels to 100 foot-pounds. All right, this is the finished product of the car. I think it looks pretty good. And then maybe this way I can keep some of the salt off my vehicle this winter. Oh. They are fairly pricey. They're 160 American, and if you live in Canada like me, everything's a lot more expensive. So I got them for around $217 after tax, shipped. I ordered them off of subination.ca. I'll throw a link in the description. If you live in Canada, it's the cheapest place I found them anyways. And you wait a bit longer for shipping. It took around 3 weeks to get shipped to my door, but all the other websites I was looking at were around $240, $260 with shipping. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe for future content.